Hi. Okay. Hello. Welcome to Fieros Reborn again. If this is your first video of this channel, then welcome here. Oh, you're in for something else. This is, I believe personally, because I'm very full of myself, I believe that this is the best thing that has ever happened to anyone. So, you watching this is going to be the best experience that you will have ever had, including flies coming by the camera. This is going to be the best thing that's ever happened to you. This moment right here and right now is going to be a televisual orgasm for an hour. Oh yeah, I burp and I fart and I sniff my own buttocks and I drink like a bastard. So I'm really having an issue with my laugh at the moment. Yeah, self-judgment is really setting in on the laugh because the laugh apparently is not correct according to my own self now, because my laugh is a defense against something else, which is probably feeling sad or being deeply intimate with my feelings and sharing deeper feelings. So I laugh. I don't think that it should be problematized though, because the laughter, I feel, actually is a legitimate way of releasing that emotion. Yeah, I should stop having a go at myself for laughing about things. Fine if it's a defense. Why do we problematize using defenses? You know, maybe I'm being defensive about being defensive now. Can just send you into weird territories, can't it? So what okay, I want to speak a little bit about how my heart area, chest area feels. So when I speak of the heart center, I mean it's kind of like a heart-shaped area in my chest. So it starts at the top here, it goes round like that, past the nipples and down to the solar plexus. So it is like a heart space. Covers kind of the tops of the lungs, full of the chest, and then into the solar plexus area there. So this is what I refer to as the heart space or the heart center. I even refer to it as the heart chakra, or the heart area, or my heart space. Those are the words I use to describe that. So at the moment, my heart space, so I don't just mean the physical heart, and I don't really mean specifically the chakra points that that you may have come across in writings and drawings about chakras. I'm not talking about that either. I'm talking about this whole area, because technically there's the throat chakra, there's a higher heart chakra, and there's a middle heart or normal heart chakra, whatever, and there are like mini chakras over the chest as well, but I just speak of it as a general space, the heart space I call it, or heart center. I usually call it heart space. Yeah, so that area. I want to just tell you a little bit about how that feels and how it has been feeling when I do these videos, and why I am drinking as well, alcohol after videos and now before and during these videos. Because, okay, this heart area at the moment, it has the qualities of stuffy. It feels like smoke, it feels like smog, it feels dry as well. There's a dryness to it. A stuckness. A feeling like a cloud. It's a cloud. So there's like a cloud of smoky, smoggy, dry, stagnant energy on the heart space here. And what the alcohol does is it wettens that area up somehow. It somehow frees the emotions that are there, that feeling. It makes it wet, is all I can say, is that the feeling is too dry and sticky, stagnant, stuffy. It's all in there, and it's like it's an uncomfortable feeling. It's a dryness and it's a feeling like it's all holding on to itself. So, and it's like it's an inward feeling that's not comfortable. It's not massively uncomfortable. It's just not particularly comfortable, and it feels better with a little bit of juice in there, a little bit of alcohol in there. Just loosens that area up a bit. I can't do it forever, and I won't have to do it forever because this feeling was quite strong for a while, and I've noticed that it's starting to go down. Like each day is a little bit less than it was. So yeah, I guess I'm a bit concerned that I may become an alcoholic during these video series, but I feel reassured that I feel like I less need to do it now, but I want to because I prefer the feeling of having that wet feeling in there while I do these videos and after I do the videos. Kind of like, I don't know. Initially, I was using the alcohol as a way to kind of buffer myself against the emotion. So when I was watching the videos back, I would take a drink while I watched it back because, and also it brings up this stuffy feeling when I do these videos. It brings it up like I think it's coming from the gut actually. I think it's coming from the gut area originally. That there's all this stored up emotional negative energy in there, which relates to the story that I've been telling of Fieros' story time, you know, from that 2004 period to 2014. There's a lot of gunk, energetic gunk, that's got stuck in my energy system and in my physical body as well. There's a manifestation of that in the physical body as the fatness, and also the reason why I took on smoking at a certain point was as a way to deal with emotions initially. And actually, throughout the whole of it, it was a way to deal with emotions and strong feelings that I would try to submerge them and to stifle them and to shut them off by smoking because they were too strong for me to deal with consciously to experience them. So I was using it as a buffer. And again, now with the drink, like before or during or after the videos, I feel like still there's a need to buffer myself somewhat from the emotion of it to give a like kind of way to dampen things down or to just make it slightly easier to deal with than having it pure, because I don't want to go through unnecessary pain. It's like a mild painkiller. It doesn't feel like it's numbing. It feels like it's if anything, it loosens. It feels like I loosen up a bit, because otherwise the chest gets really tight and tense and gammy, and taking the drink makes it feel like it's loosened up again. So yeah, I mean, I sense that I feel like I'm trying to justify my behavior, like I might be in trouble somehow, or I might be told off, or I might be, you know, putting myself into an unhealthy pattern. But there is something that feels unhealthy about it, but I also don't care, and I don't feel like it's going to last forever either. I don't feel, but then, isn't that what all alcoholics say? But notice there's something, you know what I just did there where I said, isn't that what all alcoholics say? I'm taking an argument that I've heard other people say, and then I'm applying it to myself rather than just going with what I actually know to be the truth, which is that it's going to last probably for the duration of these videos, and I am aware that I'm making this as a choice rather than being compelled to do it. Yeah, and so I'm happy to drink or not drink at this point anyway. Yeah, I don't know. Alcoholism, man. Who fucking cares? If I become an alcoholic, I'll let you know. Yeah, maybe I'm trying to defend against potential judgment of other people by doing all that stuff. Defending is a big theme coming along in these videos. So, right, another thing I want to say is I've started to get a feel for how these videos are working with regard to my story. So they're not linear. You know, I started at the beginning, then I went a little way, then I went off somewhere else, then I went back to the beginning, then I went to America, then I went back a little bit to the beginning, and it's kind of like it edges forward over time. So it's like I move a bit and then I go back and I retread my steps and I see it in a different way. And so each time I move forward, and I may need to go back, I feel like, for example, at the moment, one of the things I need to do is to revisit the Mr.B relationship and even revisit a little of the Mrs.A relationship, just to feel the sense of through line. But with the Mr.B relationship, I feel like I need to go into that in more depth because that's something that's not been covered in very much depth at all. I've only done one or two videos about that. I mean, in the early videos that I was doing about this story timeline, things were very fast paced. So for example, I covered a lot of experiences in about 3 videos, which the later stuff that I was doing, I've gone into a much more depth, where for the same period of time, I have done like 10 videos about 3 months worth of experience. And it's not even that period of time was extravagantly more rich with experience, because some of those previous experiences were equally rich with experience. And when I say rich, I mean just packed full of stuff that went on. So it could have been good or bad, positive and negative, right? Feeling good, feeling bad. But it's rich in the sense that there's material inside me, inside my psyche, to draw upon and to go through and to figure out and pick apart and listen to, really, and acknowledge and, own and stuff like this. So the richness that I speak about, it can even apply to bad situations, because to have gone through a bad situation, and to have knowledge of bad situations and to have experienced bad situations and to also have come through bad situations is actually an enriching experience overall, if you can make it an enriching experience by taking the lessons from it, by learning what you learn from going through shitty experiences. And the learning as well, I should say this, the learning that you get from going through bad situations is not necessarily a practical learning. It might be a practical learning. So it might be a sense of, I'm not going to do that ever again, or I'm never going to do this, or this taught me how to do something better next time. It might be practical in that sense of do this or don't do that. But the learning might come as more of a deeper learning, an emotional learning, which is a learning that gives you a sense of appreciation for life, or a learning that gives you a sense of understanding of other people, which is not tangible necessarily, and it doesn't always apply in every situation. It's so going through bad situations and learning from them might not come out as being a tangible do this, don't do this, I'll never do that again. I've learned from that experience that I'm always going to do this, or I want to do this with my life now. It's not necessarily like that. That the learnings you can get from bad situations, particularly, is a learning of something about the value of life. That it's a more generalized learning. It's a more feeling-based learning that affects your emotional state longer term, is what I mean. So it's not like about direction and doing what to do and where to go and learning the do's and don'ts of life. It's not necessarily that, although there can be a lot of that. For example, like something I learned from being with Mr.B was, I don't know what I learned. I don't know what I learned from being with him, practically speaking. And it's still a bit confused, to be honest. I learned not to go out with him again. And I learned about people who are deeply insecure and narcissistic, not to go out with those people again, and to know how to deal with those kinds of people when I do encounter them, and to not... I can actually be around people who exhibit those same sorts of traits without getting sucked into their drama and without reacting against them anymore either, and without kind of making a fuss about it. Whereas when I was in the Mr.B relationship, and he's still over there, I still gesture over there when I was in the Mr.B relationship, so he's over there. So if he's over there in the auric field, I need to clear him away, but I can't just push him away because he's just going to fucking come back somewhere else. So I need to, come on then, come in. We'll take the experience in. I don't want to be with you as a person, but we'll take the experience in. We'll take the emotional content in. Come on then. Mr. B. Yeah, I don't know what I learned. I don't know what I learned from him, really. I learned, well, what did I learn from being with him? I suppose it's like learning about a character type, learning about a personality type, or learning about kinds of people who are like that. Yeah. Oh. So, and really, it was knowing to not go out with those type of people, and to notice that personality cluster or that personality structure, personality type, character of person, and to say, you're not going to work for me. This is not going to. You're not going to work as a friend. You're not going to work as a relationship. And I have learned how to deal with you as a person in my life if I have to. But generally, the way to deal with that kind of person for me personally is to just move away from them, and to remove myself from their lives. So I take myself somewhere else and do something else and be with other people. Because I don't need people in my life who are controlling, manipulative, going to drag me down, who are basically interested in only themselves and interested in me as a function of themselves, as some kind of appendage to them. I feel like I'm speaking down about him, but there's another thing as well. Like, my parents seem to idolize him, and I don't know why they idolize him. They always say, "Oh, we liked Mr. B. Oh, he was nice. He was a really nice guy. No. And I've recently said to them, well, you don't know him like I knew him, you know. You know him at the dinner table kind of thing. You know him when he's being polite to other people's parents. That role of being a nice guy. That was obviously part of him, and it's okay. So there is a part of him that was a decent person. There was a part of him that was a good guy. There is a part of him that was a caring person. There was a part of him that was a sensitive person. There's a part of him who is an encouraging person. But the overall impression that I have of him when I think back is someone who was whiny, who was needy, who was clingy, who was controlling, who is manipulative, who tries to persuade me into doing the things that he wants me to do. So that comes under manipulation and control. Argumentative, insecure, mentally a little bit unstable, and emotionally / mentally unstable. Like, he couldn't handle his emotions, and he couldn't handle his mind very well, and he couldn't handle my mind either, and he couldn't handle my emotions, and he took it upon himself to try to fix me. He was a fixer. So there's just lots of negative things, which I feel bad, because the guy was young and we were both young at the time, you know. So I'm sure, I hope to fuck, that he's grown up a lot, and I sure as hell have grown up a hell of a lot since I was with him. So it feels slightly off to judge him by my standards now, or judge him by who I am now and how I manifest now. I've got this word manifest on my computer. I want to show you that now. Yeah, oops. I'm aware that doing this with the camera sometimes makes people feel sick, so I'll just do it slowly. You can see the mess in full glory now. Oh god, yeah, and then there's that thing, isn't there? Whoa, man. Infinite regress manifest. Happy with that? Okay. And then Right, let's put this back. Sorry if it makes you feel a bit ill. Look away if you feel a bit dodgy when the camera moves like that. So I feel a bit bad, like kind of judging him by my standards now. But, and bearing in mind, you don't know anything about this person either, so I'm obviously creating a horrible image of this person to you in your mind. But for me, the personal feeling is that, okay, when I was with him, I felt like I wasn't really allowed to say anything bad about him. And also, it's more than that. It's more than that. It's about afterwards. It's that I have not been able to fully acknowledge and accept the damage that he did to me. And I'm also aware that I try to minimize the feeling behind it by saying that, oh, it was the relationship that did it to me. And there's a part of me that feels that's dishonest, because there's a part of me that's saying, oh, try and be responsible with your feelings. And there's a part of me that just wants to call him an arsehole over and over and over again. Like, the real raw feeling of it is just, I want to call him an arsehole. I just want to call him a cunt. I want to call him a dickhead. I just want to rage at him. And some of it is unwarranted against him, but a lot of it is warranted against him. The stuff that's unwarranted against him is that I blame him for being the catalyst for what then tripped me over, if you like, into my mental breakdown. Basically, he was the last thing, or the first thing, to majorly go wrong. As in, he was the last thing that happened before my life went absolutely fucked for a long period of time. So he was the first thing to really have gone wrong in my life. I mean, the stuff with Mrs.A, there was yeah, it was wrong, but it was dealable, like, it was a breakup, so that feels wrong, it feels bad, it feels unhappy, it's a difficult situation to deal with when you break up with someone who you love and they've cheated on you and you feel like shit for a while, right? But there was a sense that was kind of natural in a way. It's like a natural situation or a natural progression. It was kind of almost inevitable that was going to happen, that we were going to split up and move away from each other, because of the uni thing and us being young. So she went to uni and I didn't, and so it was kind of like, yeah, we kind of knew on some level that was going to happen. So there's a sense of it being a natural progression to a relationship happening, that it didn't feel good, it felt bad. And the cheating thing, even that felt somewhat natural, because it was like, well, you can kind of understand that that's the situation that she was in. She was living in university halls, and I was away, and there was attractive guys around, and she was by herself, as in, I wasn't around, and we'd also had tension in our relationship leading up to this whole uni phase. So it's like, okay, it's gonna happen, that's the natural course of that relationship. So although I was gutted and bummed out by it, and I still remember that feeling, and I still have her in my consciousness quite often, it's like, that was the way that you could have expected things to go, or anyone could have expected it to go. For example, if I was to say to anyone now, if you're in a relationship in a high school and then you go off to uni, please don't try and maintain that relationship, really, because it's just going to be an added stress for you. And if you're meant to be together, then you can be together afterwards. But I would suggest to you to own your uni time, be at your uni time. And one thing that annoyed me about myself and Mr.B was that I feel like I totally fucked my uni time up because of the relationship I had with Mr.B. God. Yeah, because I quit that uni course. Man, it feels stupid talking about this stuff because it's so old and it's been so long, but it's still there. It's still there. It's a regret. It is a regret. All right, let's just do this because it's inside of me and I need to do it. Maybe I'll never be finished with this, but maybe I will. Maybe I need to go back to uni. This is something that comes back to me every year. The problem with my... Right, okay. I've got too much to say now. The problem with my life, one of the problems with my life, is that I have gone through so much and had so many different experiences that I cannot fully interpret and acknowledge and understand and make sense of and process my life in order to decide what is accurate right now for me to do next. For example, the uni thing, okay? The uni thing comes around every year, which calls to me again, and it still comes, and it still comes, and it still comes, and occasionally I do writing about it to try and deal with this. Is this real or not? Is this true or not? You know, what am I going to do about this? The uni thing says something like, I wish I'd finished my uni course. Maybe I should go back to my uni course. I should finish my uni course. You know, I didn't finish my uni course. I need to finish my uni course. And then there's always something like it always seems to come at a random time where like UCAS is not accepting anything at that particular time, or it comes at a time where I'm like it's too far away as well. So it would come back every year, say, redo your uni course, finish your uni course, go back to Reading, do the thing that you set out to do that was disrupted by the relationship with Mr.B and then all the mental health stuff afterwards. Go back and finish what you set out to do. And I feel like that is part of me feels like that is a strong, purposeful message to actually do that. And that maybe one of the reasons why my life is stuck is because I haven't finished those things that I set out to do. And there are real life goals, self-generated, self-directed life goals that had a purpose and a meaning to me personally that got disrupted and derailed by the relationship that I had and the way that I went about uni as well overwhelmed me because I took on far too many different activities and groups and campaigning and things like this that meant that I didn't have the emotional ability to complete my course because I was so stressed from my relationship and I was so stressed from all the different things that I'd taken on that I didn't have the ability to go through with it because I just loaded myself up with all these desires and goals and I wanted to do all these different things, and then the actual kind of reality of the situation was that I'm a limited being and I cannot achieve all these things I've set out to do, and therefore I'm going to have to bail on this one, bail on this one, bail on this one because I've overcommitted myself, bail on this one, bail on this one, and then finally just bail on the whole thing and write it off. Yeah. And there's a uni thing keeps coming back. It keeps coming back. It keeps saying, right, maybe I should go back to uni. Maybe I should finish my uni course. Maybe I should finish my uni course. And there's always an excuse not to, a reason not to. Debt, or not the right time, or what else? Oh, it's going to be faff and annoyance to fill out a form online. Oh, it's not the right time. And being around young students is going to be really annoying and I'll just be distracted by all the sexy 18-year-old girl students, female students, male students even now. You know, one of my goals was to be at uni and to experiment with male and female women, male and female people. But then there is a sense that, oh God, being a mature student is going to be annoying and weird. And I'm 32 now. I feel old. And I went back to uni, Reading Uni, just to scout it out and look around and feel the feeling of it there. And it feels different to how it was. It feels like I'm an outsider. And even if I was an insider there, I might still feel like I'm in a weird... I'm old. I'm old compared to all these young ones running around. And they're all young and immature and doing stupid stuff and doing stuff that I've done a million times before and they haven't learned it yet. Yeah, I don't know. But it still comes back though. And I think the reason that it comes back is because it's unfinished. It's an unfinished task. It's an unfinished life task that I set myself and I did not complete for reasons that I feel became out of my control. Like I'd set myself these goals and I started to do them and I was committed to them, and then it all got out of control when exams came, and like I just overcommitted myself, and then the relationship, it was bubbling away in the background, was a constant source of anxiety as well. Whenever I thought of it, was a sense of anxiety that I didn't really want to be with this person at all. In fact, I didn't want to be with him at all. So I did not want to be with that person at all, and I was feeling guilty about that, and feeling like I wasn't giving him enough attention because he wanted lots of attention, and I just wanted to say, fuck off, leave me alone, I'm breaking up with you. But also my resolution wasn't there for that either. Like I didn't have I actually didn't have it in my mind to break up with him. I just wanted him off my back. I just wanted him to leave me alone. I kind of just wanted him to go away and to not be there. But at the same time, he was so smothering as well, like so constant. So constant is a good word, constant, that you don't have enough time to think. And plus my university course and all the activities that I was doing was also very constant. So always stuff going on. And I'd self-generated those things. I'd committed to those activities and those groups and my course. So this is all self-generated suffering, self-generated pain, yeah? And yeah, so I brought it all upon myself, and then I fucked it all off myself as well. I was like, fuck off. By the way, I like the way I say fucked it all off. I like that phrase, to fuck something off, which means to make it go away, to tell it to fuck off, fuck it off, to quit it, to leave it alone, to push it away, to just reject it, fuck off. To fuck something off, meaning to push something away, to reject an experience, to deny an experience, to leave an experience. Oh my god, I'm only 30 minutes, 32 minutes through. Oh Lord. Okay, so yeah, so I blame Mr.B for wrecking my uni life, and I'm still not done with that. I still blame him. Or there's a part of me that blames him for that, and therefore there's a part of me that blames him for the fact that I ended up in a psychiatric ward. There's a part of me that blames him for the fact that my life just went after that, because he was the person who manipulated me and convinced me to quit my uni course. And it's only after the event that I even really understood how much he had coerced me into making that decision. So this is going to be quite tricky, because where's the evidence? Where's the evidence for that? The evidence is in small things that he would say over a long period of time. So the fact that I went to a debate society. So there was a debate society. I think I've spoken about this in one of my other videos early on in this timeline journey. So there was a debate society at uni where you debate things. 2 teams on a topic, debate for and against a certain point, and you win points. And then I think there's a bell and they go ding in the end. So you get a few minutes to discuss a topic, right? And I quite enjoyed that. It was very new. It was very interesting. And this tied into my wanting to be Prime Minister. I didn't know whether I wanted to be Prime Minister or Bono, like a campaigning rock star person, or the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. United Kingdom. Yes, I said the right words. Almost said United States then. Yeah, so let me just check on the camera, see how things look. Very good. Okay. I don't know what I'm saying now. I've had too much to drink already, and I feel like my words aren't being pronounced correctly by my mouth. By my mouth. By my face. And my mouth. Face. Yeah, so I was doing this debate society thing, and I was being told off by Mr.B when I got home. It was a home. I felt like going home to my student room. It felt like a home. In fact, maybe that was one of the only places I've ever been that really felt like a home. Because it was my place, and my place only. It was my room. Now, the room in this house here is my room, technically. But the sense I have of my room here is more like my room in my mum's house. Or my room with my mum around. My room when my mum's about. My room when my mum could come home at any minute now. My room and I'm not allowed to do anything in the room that my mum doesn't approve of. Like, I'm not allowed to paint on the walls anymore. You know, my room and I'm not allowed to make a mess on the carpet. My room and I'm not allowed to make a mess on the walls. My room and my mum paid for everything in my room apart from my TV. Actually, no, my mum probably did pay for my TV because that was her old TV. Alright, my room and my mum paid for all the furniture in my room. So it's kind of my room and not my room. My room and I'm always with an awareness that my mum's around. My room in my mum's house. My room in the family house. It's my room but, or my room and, my room with, not just my room, my space, my place, guarded by me. You know. But the room at uni, even though it was like somewhat impersonal, because everyone had a room like that, and loads of millions, not millions, but hundreds of thousands, maybe thousands, I don't know, maybe hundreds of people had been in that room before and called it their own. But and no one has called this room their own apart from me. So it's strange how I could feel more at home and more like this my place in an impersonal space than here. Weird, huh? But then again, maybe it's just because I'm here now in this place, and if I was to be somewhere else, I'd be like, oh, my room is over there. This isn't my room in this new place. Yeah, but at the time, at uni, it was my room because the reason was, why was it my room when I was at uni? Because everything that happened within there was like my protocol, apart from the rules of the uni. So I arranged things how I wanted them. I feel like I actually moved things around compared with how they'd initially been set out in the uni room. Yeah, it was like the uni hall, but it was my uni hall. It was I personalised it a little bit by putting a poster on the wall. It was one of those nuclear war posters, like of atom bomb mushroom cloud thing, and I wrote on it in felt tip pen or paint, probably paint, something like war is not the answer, or this is wrong, something like that. This is bad. Why do we need this? Something like that. I can't remember exactly what it was. War is not the way forward. So it was like, it was my room because I had jurisdiction over it. And the sense of my room in this house is that other people have always been barging into my room. And I still have that sense that even my mum being around is a feeling of invasion to the room. Like, I didn't have the sense of the room at uni. I didn't have a sense of being invaded by other people. The room at uni felt like it was my room because the space was respected. And other people coming in and out of the hall it felt like it was over there, it was outside, whereas my mum seems to have I seem to feel invaded by my mum just by her being in the house. I feel invaded by her energy as soon as she walks in the door. Like, she can be downstairs and doing other things and just making a tiny little bit of noise, and I feel like I'm being invaded by that. But in the halls at uni, people come in and go out and make noise and stuff, and I don't feel like they're invading me for some reason. I don't feel like I feel spacious is a good word. Spacious. I feel free. I feel myself. I feel like I can be myself. Yeah, I feel like I can be myself fully at uni. In this memory, obviously, I'm speaking of, but it's as though it's happening now anyway. So yeah, I feel like I can be myself, and I feel like I am being myself. I feel like this is who I am, and I'm manifesting who I am. You know, I'm expressing who I am as I go about this uni thing. And in the room in uni, it's my room. It's got my stuff in, and it's a different sense of self because it's a freedom, a feeling of freedom to be whoever I am, and to be honest, and to be okay with that. And I can be fully myself. I can be funny. I can be silly. I can be spiritual or religious. I can be intellectual. Like, there's all these people around who are good people and they're of my same age, and like there's just a lot of people, not all of them that I got along with, but it was a good place, you know, community feeling as well. So I feel like that's why the uni thing comes up as well, is because it was a really great time in my life, and it's an unfinished time because it got cut short by life going whoa. And maybe one of the reasons why I don't go back to it is because I feel like if I finish it, this is a thing I have with lots of stuff. If I finish it, then it will be done, and therefore I cannot go back to it. And so it's over. Like, so there's loss associated with finishing it. So if I was to go back to uni and to finish it, there would be two aspects of that. There would be the great feeling of being back at uni and doing the thing that I set out to do and wanted to do in the first place. And then there would be the feeling that I'd killed it by going and doing it, that it would be over. And part of it is still alive because it's not finished. It's still happening in a way. It's still ongoing. It's still alive. And if I was to finish it and get the completion of it, there would be the resolution of a long-term life task, if you like, life process, life goal. But there would also be the fact that, oh God, I've actually done it. And I can't go back anymore. It's not open. It's not open anymore. It's closed. That chapter is closed. So the closing of the chapter is both, yay, I finished it. I closed the chapter. Finally, I managed to close the chapter. But also, I cannot repeat that chapter again. I cannot go through that chapter again. That chapter has closed. It's finished. I did what I set out to do, and it's finished. It's done. It's dead, kind of thing. It's dead. It's a way of killing something. Man. And this applies to other things in my life as well. Like, maybe this applies to all sorts of different things: relationships, artwork, projects. Yeah. Like, when I'm finishing artworks at the moment, I notice there's a hesitancy to finish things straight away. I want to go, oh, I want to hold it for a while. I want to leave it unfinished for a while before I finish it, because it feels like it means more if I appreciate it in its unfinished state. So the most recent artwork I finished, I could have finished it in one go. Like, there was a point where I knew that I could just complete it in one go, but I was like, I'm going to leave it for a few days unfinished, because I feel like it, I don't want to just finish it straight out, because it feels like it means less if I just, fuck it off by completing it. I don't want to just rush through it, rush through it. I wanted to sit with it, let it mull a little bit, let it soak in as to that journey that I've been through with that piece. And okay, I want to appreciate where it is now, and to not just go, okay, that's it, done. And it feels a bit disrespectful in a way somehow to just suddenly. And also there's an emotional feeling that was like, no, it doesn't feel right to just finish it straight away. It feels like it should have a bit of time, and I need a bit of time before I finish it. So I did. I gave it a few days and then I finished it, and it looks good, to be fair. Yeah, and you have to be aware that sometimes it's wise, in fact, to give something some time and some space before you then act, because the time and space that you give something lets you process it on an unconscious level. That's what that symbol is. This is the wheel of the unconscious, and you process things on an unconscious level, which means you're not thinking about it and you're doing other things. So you give it time to rest, because if you consciously, actively are thinking about something all the time, you end up going round and round in a loop and never really achieving much in your thinking. So there's a point where you have to let go. I'm talking about a creative project, right? So if you've got any kind of work project or creative project that you're stuck on, it's really wise to let the pressure off for a while. You can't let it off forever, because you're going to have to go back to it, and you will have to actually do something eventually. But let the pressure off until you can come back refreshed, come back with a little bit of space. And often, in fact, in almost every case, or I'm going to just out there say it, in every case, giving something a little bit of time to rest when you're stuck will free it up, just by doing that, just by letting it sit. I do this so often. I let things sit. You just let it. You go, okay, I don't know what's going on with it now. Like, it's freaking me out. You get to a point where a piece of work or a project or something is like, okay, I need to step away. Whoop, let's step back, because if this is like making me woo, then I need to put that away. So it happens naturally on one level, but initially I used it as a technique. Okay, let's put it aside. But now I just do it naturally. I kind of like just put it aside. I don't have to overthink that. It's just like, okay, this is the time where you rest the thing. So you rest an item, or you rest the project, or you just kind of, okay, you're fucking me off. Or, okay, I don't know what to do next. Okay, let's leave it for a while. All right, we'll come back. When the feeling comes back, it will come back, and we'll do it. And if it doesn't come back, that's fine. Maybe it wasn't meant to be. But you just don't overthink it, and you just do other stuff. And what I have found, and I'm going to say this categorically, is what I have found is by resting something, to leave it aside, the emotions, the unconscious, it all gets processed while you do other things. Some mysterious process happens in the background with the passage of time and the doing of other things and the distracting yourself from that project and focusing in other directions. Like, for example, the way I tend to work creatively, I know this is different from the initial topic of the discussion, but the way I work creatively at the moment, at least, is that I've got lots of different projects at different levels of completion. And when I get stuck on one, I go, blah. And then I go off onto another one instead. And I do more work on that one. And then I get stuck on that one. And I might go back to the first one, or go back to a different one. So everything gets done incrementally at different points, because it's like, your creative mind cannot complete everything all in one go straight away. Well, that's what I find anyway. And the different projects need time to rest. And the reason that you get caught up in them or get stuck is because you're forcing it, or you're pushing it too hard, or you're not distant enough from it. You need the rest, the emotion around it. You're too close to it. You're too identified with it, or you're too passionate. Too passionate can kill the thing, or can slow down the thing. So you need to rest from it and take a break and put it away even. Like sometimes I've done things like where you send it to someone else to keep hold of for a while, so you can't meddle with it. You know, you just, okay, put it in a drawer, fuck it off. You know, give it a break, give it to someone else, or invite feedback from someone else. Even is something I've done. Like ask people, what the fuck? What do you think is wrong with this project, or why do you think this project is stuck, or what do you think this project is about, or what is the word you think would work here? What the hell is this? What do you think this is lacking? Give me help. Help me, please. Give me your feedback. Yeah. And then, so you rest that one out and you go and do some other stuff. And it might be creative or it might be completely non-creative. You might just go and watch films or walk about or talk to people and be on Facebook or whatever, just messing about stuff. Do physical tasks instead. Have a bath, have a shower, go for a run, go for a bike ride, whatever. And then after that period, rest, resolve, recuperation, whatever, you go back to the initial project and go, no, I don't want to do that. What about this one? Yeah, nah. What about this one? This one is my pride and joy. This one is the one for me. And then you go and do this one for like 3 hours, and then you go, oh, fuck this one, bollocks to this one. It's driving me insane. And then you go and take a rest from that one, and you do some other shit and like do some chores and like go out for a walk, go out for a bike ride, talk to some people, you know, play some computer games, watch some YouTube videos, and then you go, what about this one? Oh yeah, I got some ideas now. Bing, 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 and you do this one, and you go, oh, that helps me out with this one as well. Oh yeah, think about this one. Writing. This one's a writing project, and this one's a drawing project. And then you're like, fuck that third one. I'm never doing that ever again. Never, 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 never again. Never again. And then you go off and do other things. And then you go, oh yes, number three, this is the thing, this is the one I wanted to do. This is my pride and joy. And then you go, fuck this thing, this is the worst thing I've ever done. And then you move on. So yeah, so I find, I don't know if the camera's working well, I find that having lots of different projects on the go and you add to them here and there, that's working for me at the moment anyway. Yeah. And there is also something to be said for being really concentrated in projects for as long as you can. Just I fucked myself over. Yeah. Okay. I don't really like this perspective because it shows me to have man boobs more than usual. I realised I just started talking about creativity loads, and I was supposed to be talking about the relationship with Mr.B and stuff. So I don't know how that's all come about. Oh well. Okay, so I'm going to end it there. Slightly shorter than normal because my brain has literally gone.